What's up guys, it's that Freakin Geek here, and let's be honest, it has been a pretty average year for movies and TV series. It's quite honestly a fail of a year thanks to the pandemic. The year has kind of been saved by gaming though. We not only have so many incredible games coming out this year like Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the once again delayed Cyberpunk 2077, we're also getting shiny brand new generation of consoles. And that's exactly what I want to talk about right here, right now, is that we're getting new consoles this year. It's been 7 years since the release of the PS4 and the Xbox One, and boy has it been 7 awesome years. But now we've got to look forward to some big new improvements, such as finally getting an SSD. I remember when I finally got an SSD in my laptop, it was revolutionary. Makes things load so much faster. Yes, PC guys, I know SSDs have been around for years, but now games will finally take advantage of the capabilities thanks to them finally coming to consoles. And consoles are now realizing that there are frame rates higher than just 30 frames per second. Both the next Xbox and PlayStation will be able to do up to 120 frames per second, which means the experience will look a lot smoother. Listen, people complain that 4K is a joke because no one owns 4K TVs, but I know for sure that 95% of owned TVs do not do more than 60 frames a second. That's why my ideal performance is 4K 60, especially because 4K TVs are mostly sold at TV shops nowadays and therefore will become much more of a norm within the immediate future. Thankfully, most next-gen games are confirmed to do 4K 60 frames, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Far Cry 6, except for some games like Watch Dogs Legions and Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that's because instead of more frames, we're getting ray tracing, which is another new feature of the next-gen gaming. Ray tracing is this amazing feature that allows for incredible new lighting effects. Just take a look at Minecraft with ray tracing off versus with it on. It completely changes the look of the game. And some even say that it looks even better because it looks more lifelike, which from videos like these makes it hard to argue. There are also free next-gen upgrades on games, which means if you buy a PS4 or Xbox One game and there is a next-gen version of said game, in most cases you'll be able to upgrade it to the next-gen version for absolutely free. So when you get your shiny new next-gen console, you don't have to buy the game again. There's also backwards compatibility, but that gets super complicated. But know that Xbox is the best because you get to play nearly all of their old games, from the OG games to the 360 games to the Xbox One games. But the PS5 just lets you play PS4 games. Both consoles offering its own performance boosts, but this is a whole other situation that deserves its own video. Okay, awesome. You are now telling me that you are sold on next generation consoles, but what should you get? Because there are 4 to choose from: Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. What the F does that all mean, and which is the one for me? Well, starting with the most complicated of them all, the Xbox consoles. Series X is said to be the fastest, most powerful Xbox ever for 12,000 Rand, and the Series S console packs next-gen speed and power into the smallest, sleekest Xbox ever for 7,000 Rand. And for 5,000 Rand less, you're not getting 4K gaming, and in some cases you do get 120 frames per second, but it's more likely you'll be playing Full HD 60 frames. For so much less, that is really a great price for a next-gen console, even with the lack of power and a disk drive. Yeah, you can't put a disc in this cheaper Xbox, you gotta buy games from the digital store. But this little next-gen console with Game Pass, which is only 150 Rand per month and it's like a Netflix type but for game service, this is an absolute steal of a deal. But if you want all the bells and whistles, like up to 8K, 120 frames, then get the more expensive Xbox Series X. Both consoles offer this quick resume feature, which allows quick access to multiple games at the same time. Maybe you're playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but then you want to take a break and so you switch to Minecraft Dungeons. But then you actually want to play Skate and so you switch to that. But no, stuff that, let's go and play Black. But you know what, Star Wars was actually the game you wanted to play and you switch right back to that, and bam, just like that, all these games can be quickly resumed without loading. And so yeah, there's actually quite a lot going for the Xbox, and if you're interested in picking one up, I think they're still available to pre-order on most retail shop websites, but you better act fast because most of the world is sold out. Then there is the less complicated PlayStation 5s. Both have the same power and capabilities, but the digital edition is just missing the disc drive. 10,000 Rand for this console is a pretty good middle ground if you wanted to save some money, but did not want to miss out on the performance. But if you want to buy discs, then you're gonna have to pay 12,000 Rand for the one with the disc drive. Sony has been putting a lot of emphasis on its new DualSense controller, which offers dynamic vibrations and adaptive triggers, and so when you pull back a bow and fire, you will feel the tension of the strings. Then there's this 3D audio engine that produces immersive sounds for your games. And with all the PlayStation's epic exclusives like Ratchet & Clank, God of War, and Spider-Man, you can't go wrong with a PS5. But here's the thing, the console is sold out worldwide. Sony said they pre-sold as many PS5 consoles in the first 12 hours as it did PS4 sales 12 weeks after release, which is insane, so don't expect to get one before Christmas, but be pleasantly surprised if Sony does somehow manage to meet the demand. I personally managed to get my pre-order in for a normal PS5, and I very much look forward to November 19th to play the PS5 exclusive Spider-Man Miles Morales. But if you really want a next-gen console, you gotta ask yourself, what games will you play? Because after all, it's about the games. If you're going to be playing third-party developer games, meaning games that came out on both consoles, like Call of Duty and FIFA, I recommend an Xbox. But if you're like me and can't miss out on the PlayStation exclusives, maybe you should consider the PS5. Except now with Xbox acquiring Bethesda, and I cannot miss out on games like Elder Scrolls and Doom, so it might mean I'll be getting an Xbox Series X sooner than expected. But that's it from me. I hope you learned something new about next generation gaming, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks guys, bye.